Hey, welcome to my channel where I talk about my dolls, and that's literally it. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing my American Girl boy dolls, and I wanted to do that for a while now because in any doll fandom I've ever been a part of, boy dolls do not receive a lot of love, both from the manufacturers and from the people who collect the dolls themselves. I'm sure there are many reasons, but I also, because I'm a male collector, I've always had usually a bit more of a special place in my heart for boy dolls. Could be because they're rare, or just because I'm a male too. So I might have a little bit more to say about that as the video progresses, like all the different dolls I've collected and how, for example, in American Girl, there are almost now 200 dolls. I think it's about 195. It depends on if you count the sort of one-of-a-kind auction dolls, which I don't. I think there are 195, and out of those 195, there are only 7 official boy dolls. One who's a character, Logan over here, and then just a couple or 6 Truly Me's. So, and they haven't even done a new Truly Me in the longest time, so I guess they're kind of just like done. Like they're never gonna do another boy character, or I don't know. I thought the last wave of Truly Me dolls they would release a new boy, but so far nothing. And I just assume that means the boy dolls don't sell very well, which coincides with, like I said, every doll line I've ever collected. The boys were always the last to sell out of anything limited edition, or even if that was like more open edition. For example, I used to collect Living Dead dolls. It was always a series of 5, 4 girls and 1 boy, and the boy was never the most popular. And those numbers were easy to see because they would like fly off shelves. With American Girl, it's harder to see because they just keep producing more when the the stock sells out. And obviously, I think it's obvious, the reason I started with Logan on the table is because he was the first boy doll, but he was also my first boy doll, American Girl boy doll. And it was probably for a while before I got my next, well, at the beginning of collecting American Girl is all a blur. I mean, considering I now have 115 dolls, I feel like the whole thing is a blur. That was 115. I don't know if that sounded like 150. Not there yet. So when I got him, it was I was excited to get him because he was the doll that there was a lot of press when American Girl released her first boy doll. So that's when American Girl really where like in the where I was collecting, that's when I first took notice. I think I'd probably kind of heard of American Girl, but never thought much about it until, was it 2017 that he came out? So I don't really have much to say about the doll himself because I've featured him pretty recently. In fact, I think I've featured all the boy dolls pretty recently, but I still wanted to have them all together in one video and talk about them as boys. So that's, oh, and I also, just to make it feel like you're not seeing the same dolls over and over again, I changed them all up as much as possible. The last time you would have seen him, he would have had a similar outfit, but this was the best I could do to make him look really different without like removing the parts of his outfit that feel really iconic to me, as in like who his character is. So I don't know if I mentioned that he's got 2017. Most American Girl collectors would remember that the eyes they were manufacturing were pretty weird. I don't remember the mechanics behind it, why they're looking down. I don't know how it looks on like video, but people who take pictures of the dolls, I guess, for like Instagram and those kind of collectors, I know that they didn't like taking pictures of these dolls because you can never get them to look like straight at the camera, and it always looks a little off. But I like it because for his character, I see him as like kind of shy, maybe insecure. That's why he carries around his little fidget toy, and he's always looking down because he's just just that kind of character. And I've said he's kind of like a mini me, but not an intentional mini me. So I don't want you to think that I would be walking around staring at the ground. I'm not like that. But it's just that, he looks enough like me aesthetically that I would never need to make a mini me because it would just look like Logan. And I started out thinking, I'm not going to talk about Logan very long because I've talked about him so much, but here I went again. So I am going to move on to the next doll because I'm really excited. I changed his outfit for the sake of this video, and he looks so cute. I mean, I always feel like that when I change a doll. I'm sure we all do, but I feel like this one's a little bit exceptional. Out of all the dolls I changed here, he's my most favorite change. That's why I want to go into him first. And I also have 3 of this particular Truly Me 77. And I put him in a mix of CYO clothes. And if you look at him close up, you can see that he's got hazel eyes. I gave them to him from Truly Me 120. And so the eyelids, they were a little bit dark on her. I'm looking at them on camera. They look a little bit more of a perfect color match in person, which is a good thing because I don't like when the dolls have lighter eyelids because it just almost makes it look like, I don't know, like they're sick, or I guess like they've faded or something, like there's something wrong. But I promise in person, the color match is actually really good to his, like his skin tone. And so he's one of the, as I said, 6 Truly Me boy dolls that have come out. He's the only Addie mold boy so far. And I have 3, like I said, and there is slight variation between the 3 of them. Not just the eyes, but like if you look at his, anytime I talk about him, I have to point out his, like, his wig is so cute. It's like no other I've ever seen. And my store had lots of him left over. And by store, I mean Indigo, which is a bookstore in Canada. They used to carry American Girl. I may talk about Indigo again, so I'm just trying to preface that conversation because not everybody who sees my videos has heard of Indigo. It's where we used to get American Girl in Canada until I think it was gone just a few months ago. But the transition out started last summer, maybe. They started putting it on sale, which I'll talk about that later because of dolls that I got on sale. And so I just, I'm trying to ramble so that people can get enough of him because he's so cute. And in my display, he's like in the shoe store that I have going on. So he's in the display shopping for shoes. Have I said enough about him? Yes, but you can still look at him in the background until I set it all in front of him. Oh, and I'm going to jump right into the sale that I was just mentioning. And I've talked about this particular doll so recently. It was just like 2 videos ago. So I don't need to say much about the doll himself. I changed his outfit a little bit just to make him look a little different. These 2 are a pair. They're like best friends in my world. And I've talked about this in my comments, but never in the video, which is probably the better way to talk about it. So I'm not typing this out all the time. But last summer, I went to my local Indigo, which I just mentioned. And I don't remember what doll I think I was looking for the best Govy possible. And somebody wanted to do a trade, something like that. And then I was digging through the shelves. There were so many dolls up there at one point. And he was back there, and there was a sales sticker on him that said like $70, and there was an additional, $85, something around there, because his total ended up coming to $60 after the additional 30%. They were 30% off on their clearance items. So this doll, who is so hard to get now, and was probably even hard to get at the time because he was already discontinued from the American Girl website, and I think he was discontinued from the Indigo site as well, but they were trying to clear out all the older Truly Me dolls. So I ended up getting him for such a steal at a time that I didn't know it was such a steal. It was a doll I really wanted because I did want to pair them together. And so as excited as I was, I think I almost took it for granted that he wasn't such a rare gem to find like on a shelf. So I didn't know how cheap he was until I got him. That's the other thing. I didn't know how cheap he was until I went to cash him out, finding out that he came to like $60 after the additional 30% off. So it was like, oh, I wonder if there are more back there because I could do like customs, and he's so cute. And there aren't a lot of boy dolls, as I've already said. So I went digging through those shelves like a greedy little monster. And he was the only, I didn't even say what Truly Me he is. Truly Me 76. So there were no other Truly Me 76 dolls, but there were a couple other dolls that I wanted, so I ended up getting them as well. And one of them is a boy, so I'll talk about him in a bit. Uh-oh, he's wearing tight pants. All right. Okay, who should I talk about next? Oh, the next one? You know what, let me get this one over with because I've talked about him so much recently because he's a pretty new doll. And I couldn't do much change him because this is his character in my collection. The only thing I could do was give him a different necklace because he had like a rose gold horseshoe necklace on. So the best I could do was change it for like what is that? Like a bull head? A ram? The head of a ram? It's some cowboy. I know I've seen like that be like a Texas or a cowboy thing, and I don't know enough about that culture to know that I'm correct. But anyway, this was the most I could do to make him look a little bit different from the last 3 videos he's been in, at least 2. Maybe I'm being dramatic because I am dramatic. But anyway, he's a CYO. It may be obvious that he's a CYO with light skin, freckles, Kaya mold. And I got him with red hair to go in a little family display that I have. And he's wearing a Maple Leaf outfit, which is Canada's answer to American Girl. they even have like a little nickname, Canadian Girl. So it's pretty on the nose why they what inspired them to come up with this doll line. And to anybody who doesn't know much about Maple Leaf, you never know. Their clothes are really like the highest quality, but they don't always fit American Girl dolls perfectly. So if you can see by looking at his feet, these boots look like boats. But so, as long as there's no exposed toe, or like, I don't know if it's got like the toe is to the end, so like too much of the foot is exposed, then you'll be able to tell that they don't fit. But other than that, he's a boy. He's gonna look like he's wearing bigger shoes. Boys have bigger feet. I don't know. And he's wearing what is called the classic cowgirl outfit because it's made for a girl. But it's blue. It's got flowers. It doesn't have to be gender specific, if you ask me, because I put it on a boy. And I talked about him longer than I thought I would. Okay, that's fine. But it kind of gets him out of the way, let's say, because it's like I'm soon gonna run out of things to say about these dolls. Soon, I mean like in a couple years or so. I don't know for sure. All right, and the next doll is in further to when I bought Truly Me 76, whom I've named Rohan. This is a doll I've named Mikey, but he is Truly Me 75. And so the day that I found him buried in the back of the shelves, they also had him. And this doll wasn't like near the top of my list because I liked that he was, I liked that he had the painted corners in his eyes. I don't know why. I believe some people remove them, and I'll show you a 75 later whose painted corners I've removed. But I wanted to put him in this outfit. He doesn't usually wear this outfit. It like actually belongs to another doll in my collection. But when they promoted this outfit, I think it was called Summer Fun. It was promoted with the snack bar playset. And this was the doll they had in the outfit, but I've never put it on him before. So I just feel like now I've put him in this outfit that it's like, oh yeah, I guess this was the intention. So now I get to see him for a minute in it. But really, after this video is over, I'm putting it back on the doll it belongs to. And I've said many times, I named him Mikey after an old friend who chose his English name to be Mike, which has always been a funny story to me. It's just like a fond memory. And I don't think I need to say anything more about this guy because he was in I did a video with all my Jess mold dolls. So that wasn't that long ago. It was within the last few weeks. So it's just like, mostly I just want to see all the boys together in one video because, like I said, they don't get enough love. And I wonder how many people like who see this video or these videos and comment if they collect boy dolls too, because every time I post boy dolls, people will say something to the effect of, the boy dolls need more attention, more love, and they love boy dolls. And it's like, so then why don't they make more? It's just like a frustration I'll have in anything I collect. And so now that moving on, because this is how I bounce around, I'm going to show the next two dolls as a sort of set because they are a set or a pair in my collection. And they've both been shown recently, but I didn't show them together. So first up, he's Blaine Peters, Yvette's brother in my world, and they're both in Julie's world, Yvette and Blaine Peters, as Julie's cousins. And then this is his best friend, his little basketball buddy named Antoine. And the reason I named them Blaine and Antoine, I've told this story before, but it was a pretty long time ago. So I don't imagine people either have seen it or would remember it. But there was a show, like a skit show, when I was in junior high, like late elementary school, which is like K to 6 in Canada, kindergarten to grade 6, and then junior high, which is grade 7 to 8 in the region I grew up. So from like, I don't know, I was about 11 to about 14, there was a show on the air called In Living Color. And it was a skit show like Saturday Night Live, but it was actually funny. And they had this skit called Men On. So it was like Men on Books, Men on Film, where it was these two flamboyantly gay characters who would review things, and they would have these like, almost like Drag Race style catchphrases. It's just very, I don't know if over the top is a nice thing to say, but very like, almost like cliche gay phrases and mannerisms. But there were two straight men who played it, so it wouldn't fly well in today's audience, but I did find the show funny, and I love that skit. And at the time that it came out, I was young, so I wasn't out of the closet, but the character from the skit, Blaine, is my name, and it's also this doll's name. I didn't name him after me. It's a. I thought I was. I thought I was putting the name on the box, my name, but turns out collectors put the doll name on the box, so his name is Blaine because of that. I'm fine with it. He's not my mini-me. Is the point of that ramble? So I named him because I named him Blaine by accident, and I wanted to pick out a name for his like best buddy in my story. I decided to go with Blaine and Antoine because growing up as a flamboyant or like a feminine kid who played with dolls, and there was always speculation about my identity. I don't know what you'd say, and even teachers would make certain comments, not about the Blaine and Antoine thing, but just about like inappropriate comments to a 12-year-old who has not discovered themselves yet. So people would always say to me, like in a high-pitched voice, hey Blaine, where's Antoine? So it's like, it was such a traumatic feeling at the time because I was not ready to be open about that because I was a kid. So it's like, it just, for me, felt a little bit like, okay, I've clearly moved on and dealt with this. I can name them Blaine and Antoine. And they're just friends, for the record. But I don't know. I mean, it's none of my business if they're not more than friends. They're just dolls. So that was a recap of a story I've already shared on here, but probably at a time that my channel was pretty new because it was when I introduced Julie's World. That's when I talked about them and their story. And the thing about since that video, I've changed his eyes. I gave him like these light brown eyes that looked really weird on him. They weren't the right size, so he was like bug-eyed. And then I put him in. Now he has. Is it truly me 90 with the purple hair and the gray eyes? I didn't know I was going to talk about her. 90 or 91. I think he has her eyes. Yeah, the lids are a bit dark for him, so I don't mind darker lids. It's when they're lighter that they look funny to me. I know I have we're allowed to have our own little idiosyncrasies when it comes to collecting, and that's one of a couple of mine. And now I've said enough about them, I think, right? So let me move on to, okay. The reason I put this doll next, his name is Pedro. He was a TLC Kaya. This is his outfit. So in my world, and after this video is over, I just want to put him in something different because, as I said, I've recently shown all these dolls, and I thought this would look really cute on him. He works at the snack stand because of, he has to take it as a summer job. He got in trouble at home, at school. It's a long story that is not necessary for the sake of showing this video. But anyway, so this was, as I said, a Kaya doll. And so because Kaya was the sculpt or the mold they used for Logan, and Kaya's mold is the first one they made into a boy. When this doll showed up locally for $10 Canadian, just in really rough shape, the wig was brutal. And this was about as much as I could salvage of it. I might even cut it a little bit short. I have trimmed it so many times. Like every time I show him, I'm like, oh, I see him on camera. I'm like, oh, he still looks rough. So it's like one day he's going to have like, I don't know what this kind of cut would be above the ears, but I wanted him to have like a bit more of a surfer look, kind of like Keanu Reeves, circa Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, because he's a surfer and he has a surfer friend. But anyway, I feel like he looks so good as a boy and so different from Kaya, just with like an outfit swap. And a lot of his paint was faded, so I think, he doesn't look like he has, not that they have lipstick on, but, with the less rosy lips, he looks even more like a boy and even less like Kaya. Don't think I need to say much else. He's wearing a Maple Leaf outfit as well. I like to talk about this shirt actually. It's the Every Child Matters shirt, which Maple Leaf makes for Orange Shirt Day. The shirt is to raise funds for the Orange Shirt Foundation, which provides, I don't know if remuneration is the right word, but it's to raise money for our Indigenous people, our First Nations people who suffered living in, their ancestors suffered in residential schools. And even, I say ancestors, but I think our residential schools didn't fully close down until the early 2000s. Like they closed down in America, I believe in 1997. It was mid to late 90s. And we still had it open. We still had ours, not all of them, but we still hadn't completely shut it down until the early 2000s. So it's like Canada always has this reputation for being so progressive and inclusive. But, you think about our history and it's almost like our reputation precedes us, and people I know would have a different experience from what our reputation is. I'll put it that way. So yeah, so it's really nice that $1 from each shirt that they sell, $10 shirts, so $1 goes to the Orange Shirt Foundation. And I have a couple of them. It's just like an easy thing to throw in if I want free shipping, and it's my big dollar is going to that cause. But regardless, orange is my favorite color, so I'll always love the shirt for other reasons too. And next I will share one of the classic mold boys. Oops, I just dropped his doll stand. This one is Rory. So normally right? Oh, no, this one's Cameron. I'm looking at him from the back and he's not wearing his normal outfit. Cameron is 104, right? So he's the second classic mold boy, 104, and he's his surfer friend. But I have shown him in that outfit a couple times, so I thought I would just change it up. He's in like a mix and match of CYO stuff, and these are Maple Leaf shoes. But now whenever I put these shoes on a doll, I will put socks underneath, because he was originally wearing these shoes, these very, how would you say, when something has a lot of dye, what would you call it? Not potent, but it's saturated. That's what I think I would say. So because the dye, the red is so saturated, it has stained. I didn't even think about it. Oh, okay. So I think it might have faded, but he had a little bit of staining around his feet when I took off the shoes that I had on him for a couple months. Like not even very long, but it doesn't take long. So that's why now whenever I use these shoes, I like them. They're really cute. Like just, they're so stylish, and they don't make the feet look as boaty as the cowboy boots do, but I mean, they don't have that little point at the end. So I'll just make do by putting on a pair of socks because I do love them. And I don't think I have much else to say about Cameron. Yeah, the outfit isn't even that impressive. I just really wanted to change him up so that he looked different for the sake of the video. And who's going to be, I'm wondering if, I'll show him after. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm going in the right order, that I'm not missing anybody. So here, as I said, I have 3 Truly Me 77 dolls, and this is the first one I had. And so when I bought him, the intention was to put him in my Claudie collection, and I bought this handmade outfit for him, which I don't know if it's 1920s or 1930s. I'm really not good with that stuff. When I saw it, I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. It looks like what Jodie, her little brother, is wearing in the books when you look at the legend and the animations. And so I ordered it. I bought it from someone who was selling the outfit, on a Facebook American Girl doll group in Canada. So somebody pretty locally. And I've shown him quite a few times, but he's always in his 1950s getup because I ended up moving him to Mary Ellen's World. He works at the Seaside Diner. And so this is the first time I'm showing how he originally looked with the, without the apron and without the hat. And this is the hat that came with the outfit. So this was the 4 pieces. It was the overalls, the white shirt, the tie that has like a little elastic on it, you can probably see, and this really cute hat. And I have quite a few pieces from her, and I've seen other, even American collectors have her clothes, like another, I don't know if I've seen them in YouTube videos or Instagram posts or Facebook posts, wherever, whatever. Any social media I'm on, it's just for dolls, so it could have been anywhere. And so yeah, oh, and he's the only one I haven't changed his eyes, because I wanted to make them look a little bit different, because like I said, I had 3. The reason I have 3, for anyone who hasn't heard me talk about this so many times, because I have talked about it a lot, because Indigo stopped carrying American Girl, they ended up putting, so first it was a sale, like how I got these 2 dolls on sale, but then they put they were really trying to clear out the last ones at the end, and it was like a major clearance price. So the Truly Me 77 dolls, there were quite a few of them, so they put them down to $35. I had already had him for, I don't know, almost a year at that point, I think, because I think he was one of the first. Anyway, I probably had him last summer. I just know I had him for a long time when I got him for Claudie. And so I immediately bought one more to become Antoine. And then one day I was in there and I was just looking at them like, it's like $35. I need to figure out a way to figure out a reason. Like maybe I'll re-wig him. I'll do something. But then I saw that one with the most adorable wig I'd ever seen. And so I was just like, you know what? He's got such a unique wig. The 2 dolls I have of 77, they need the wigs the way they are, like for the sake of their storyline. So it's just like, I'll change his eyes. And that's good enough. That makes him feel different enough when I already have so many dolls of every mold anyway, by that point. So that was probably everything I need to say about Indigo in this video. But it'll come up again. I'm looking around. Will it come up soon? And who am I going to go to next? I'll go, okay, so he was another sale doll. No, not this one. I want to put these two together. Sorry, this is the other classic mold boy. His name is Rory. So he, from the back, and knowing they're classic molds, they don't look that different. His hair is a bit lighter. The swoop is obviously a bit different. I think maybe their eyebrows are a bit different. The mold has evolved a little bit, but this one is truly me 74. So when there aren't a lot of options, when there are only 7 boys, you're not going to pass one just because his hair is like not different. I mean, I have repeats, so obviously I'm going to get every single one that they release just because I want them, not just to support boy dolls, but yeah, to support boy dolls too. We should all do that if we want them to make more. And I just put him in Logan's performance outfit just because I wanted him, to be a little bit different from the last times actually, you know what? This is the 3rd outfit I've shown him in. He's actually not one of the ones who I've shown over and over in the same outfit, so I lie. And he's best friends in my display with Mikey over here. And that's really all I need to say about him. I never really, so when I bought Logan, I bought him with this outfit, his meat outfit and this outfit. And I was so excited to have him and change his clothes, but I don't even use his meat outfit. Like, I have had him in more custom type clothes ever since. It's getting tight up here because I still have a few more dolls to show. How am I going to make this work? I don't know. Dolls will probably go flying. That's what usually happens when I get overcrowded. And so, just give me 1 second. The professionalism every time. I'm going to make some room because I still have 3 more. And I thought I had figured this out by now. People in my comments are always like, I like the way you just talk about your dolls never change. And it's like, are you sure you don't want me to change? You sure you don't want me to improve in some ways? Like maybe make the videos a little less amateur? I'll always be amateur, that's fine. Okay, so now I haven't made that much more room, but we're going to make it work. So this is my custom Truly Me 75. His name is Billy. He's part of Mary Ellen's World. It's just probably obvious, even if you haven't seen him in like the 3 other videos I've already shown. So he's a Jess mold. I removed the paint from his eyes because, as I was saying earlier, one of the things I liked about the Jess Mold Boy, the Truly Me 75, is the painted. I just like the way it really accentuated the shape of the eye. And one thing I didn't talk about in my Jess Mold video is apparently the socket has been altered for a couple dolls, but I am just not astute enough to pick out those little minute details. And so I'll just have to trust that that really did happen. Is this going to work? Sorry, Rory. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, and another doll I showed so recently, like 2 videos ago, but I did think of something that I haven't told about him yet. So the doll is named Zachariah. He is just like the perfect Truly Me 113. Custom isn't the right word because he's just outfitted. But when I was putting him together, I was really inspired by an old 80s horror movie because I was raised on horror. My mom is a big horror fan. She and I would, since I was I don't know, 5 years old, 6 years old maybe, we would watch horror movies. We would like rent them or watch them on TV every Friday night. And it was just this thing that I liked from like early childhood. And I guess I'm saying that because I do, even though these are American Girls and they're very not horror, I have collected a lot of horror things throughout my life. And in the Friday the 13th part 5, there was this couple who get unalived very, very soon into the movie. But anyway, so the name of the character is Demon. I don't like that that's his name. It's such a stupid name. Not his name. That's the name of the character who inspired, because he had like this type of hair. It was like a mullet. Like the curls came down in the back, and I was really amazed that I was able to get his hair to do that. So I don't know if you can see. I don't know if I've ever really talked about how, because his hair is not supposed to be a mullet. Like the 113 wig is not designed for that, but I was able to get it on him like that, which was just like such a fluke. And he had, I don't know, because these wigs, these short curly wigs, I have one for my CYO over there, the Blaine doll I showed, and his wig it's terrible. I feel like I have to glue parts down because so much of the what do you call that? Like the band of the wig, so much of it is showing that I feel like I got really lucky with my 113's wig. And I really wanted to talk about his his, what's the word, relation relationship to horror movie, you know what? This is what we're doing. This is how it's going to look. It's fine. We're fine. Because the last doll I have to show is an unintentional horror doll. And I feel like I need to give a jump scare warning. I mean, again, dramatic. It's fine. I'd rather you be over prepared than be like, okay, drama, than be like, whoa, you should have warned me that doll looks so scary. So this doll I unboxed or opened recently in a, what would have been like 3 weeks ago now, of a, what are they called? Gott's little sister doll that I wanted to make into a boy. And I have to say that this was the hardest time any doll has ever given me, because it's a he now, but like the doll originally, the character was a girl character. Kate, I think the name's Kate for the doll. Who would keep that? So it was an old doll, bought it off eBay, and it had a really strong smell that some collectors compare to crayons or wax, but it was like crayons or wax mixed with like onion or bad, like a bad, I don't know, like hockey equipment. I grew up with a brother who played hockey, and sometimes his gym bag would smell like this doll. And it was so bad. I'm not showing you yet because I feel like I have to like preface why he looks the way he looks. And I'm overhyping it so he won't be that bad, I hope. So I had to take the entire doll apart. Like I had to take his body apart, take his head out. I had to remove his eyes, de-wig. I removed all the stuffing. I washed the stuffing. It took like a week to dry because stuffing it just holds water. I had to dry his body. I had to like hog tie his body with like the limbs to my kitchen sink, like to the faucet. I had to re-soak his head I first did it for a day. I soaked him overnight in, the soaking that I was doing was just in laundry detergent and fabric softener. And if that's bad, I don't care. I couldn't live with that smell. It was permeating my living room. Like I put a wig on him, and I'm going to have to wash that wig because it now smells like that, even these weeks later. So when I took him, like the body, the stuffing, those I just had to soak for the one day. It was fine. But his head, I took it out, I dried it, and I picked it up. I picked up his head, and my hands smelled like it from just touching him. So there was just, I don't know what it was. But the other thing, this is where I'm segueing into why he looks spooky as he does. So these are the softer, they're like the old Pleasant Company squishy vinyl. And when you eye swap these harder head dolls, you can actually move them and turn them so they go in crooked, and then you can straighten them. But in this, the body is so rubbery, the vinyl is so rubbery that you can't move it. If it doesn't go in perfectly, it's not moving. So, and it was, like when I tell you that swapping eyes is painful, I never knew eye swapping pain until I did a Pleasant Company type of doll, like because Gott's vinyl, right? And so when I tried to put his original eyes back in, it was so hard that a part of the eye, one of the eyes, broke. And I had these custom eyes. I know, it's been a long time, and you're like, can you just show me the doll already? Give me no. Because I'm just trying to explain why he has these weird, spooky, like ghostly eyes. So I'm not going to keep them on him. It's just, I'm hoping I can fix him up a little bit before the next time I show this doll. But anyway, here he is. And because he's not in his final form, I haven't even picked a name for him yet because he's not going to look like this. But anyway, as a boy, he looks cute. But as those eyes, like, if I stand him like this, like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, he looks like he's coming to get you. Like, that's all I see when I look at him. Like, anyway, he looks like the kids from the Village of the Damned or something. Because, okay, so here's the reason his eyes. So if I lay him down, his eyes don't close. Because his eyes are not completely in there. It's just they're basically glued in. So I removed the part of the eye. I'm sorry that the story is so long, but I just have to get this off my chest. And I feel like people out there will understand my pain. I had to remove so it's just this part of the eye, just that part. There's no metal rim around it or the base that usually you would push it all in as a unit, because that would not go in. Like, these sockets are so tight and so hard to maneuver. I think I'm trying to warn anybody out there too who has any interest in eye swapping a Pleasant Company type doll, one of the softer vinyl. Maybe you're better than I am, but if you're not, if you're at the same level or worse, never do it. Just don't do it. I will never buy, and this is the lesson I had to learn, I will never buy a Pleasant Company or, Gott's vinyl doll that doesn't have perfect eyes. Anyway, back to the boy dolls. I hope people like boy dolls, and I hope seeing these all together shows that we do need more. And maybe even making a doll into another sculptor mold with a closed mouth, because they're clearly not going to make boy dolls with their open mouth at this point. So that would be nice. Or maybe even getting a couple of these closed mouth dolls molds into the CYO shop would be great, because I know other people, you might even want to make them into, you know, girls. They wouldn't necessarily have to be boys just because they have closed mouths. And I think I have run this topic into the ground now because, you know, excited talking about boy dolls. So, as I said, more videos are always coming. So I will see you soon in the next one.